we're going to bring up MindUp. Let's talk about what it is.
Okay, MindUp is a program that I dreamed. It was created by neuroscientists, positive psychologists, and some practitioners. But I asked a big question back after 9/11 happened, because I knew the world, I felt it had changed forever. And I wanted to help our children understand that we're going to be okay. Parents, we're going to be okay. It was a really difficult time. And for me, I knit the American flag out of knit wool because I couldn't imagine that America could not still be the best and most amazing country on earth. So that is what happened. And I took all the things during that time of happiness that we were studying, that I was going to take around the world in search of joy around the world. And because I did a lot of stuff with brain during that. And I learned a lot. And then I became much more ensconced in understanding brain science and the connection between neurological activity. By understanding the brain, does that give us a little bit more agency over understanding how to work with our brain? And why aren't school children, first off, taught with these little parts of the brain and what they do? Neuroscience should be taught in every classroom. So that's what came to my mind. And like anything else, I was very brave, and I decided, I'm going to do this and see if it works, and it did. So what we have now is a program called MindUp, and it starts with neuroscience and 3 very important parts of the brain: the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, our thinking brain, and the amygdala, which is where we react and we feel big emotions. And when that amygdala starts going off because we're scared or uncertain or angry or too high or whatever, the executive function, which is the prefrontal cortex, goes offline. That means that it's being hijacked by your big emotions. Can you make decisions under those things? No. Can you learn on a frenzied brain? No. How do we calm the brain down so we understand how we quiet the brain so the wise owl and the executive function and that PFC can come back online? That's how we think. That's how we solve problems. That's how we help. And there's no bias in there, because all we're doing is calming down that part of our brain. So when we learn more about our brain, we learn more about our potentiality. How are we going to be able to actually restructure our brain? For instance, we had very depressed people. This is a research study on people depressed in the bed, very depressed. They gave them gratitude journals every day. This was for 12 weeks or so, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the amount of weeks, but it was write 5 things you're grateful for every day. That brought them out of their bed. Many of them recovered. Others needed help, but truly, that is a powerful activity. What are you grateful for? Why? Because it activates certain areas of the brain that create neurological connections, that create bundles. I would rather create a bundle to remember what I am grateful for, and let those neurons keep connecting and firing and wiring together that way.
It's so easy to focus on that thing that made me mad, or that thing we saw on TV, those other people. But there's so many wonderful things that happen to our lives. And we pay attention to the things that we give energy to and that we give attention to.
Exactly.
So what better way to do that than have the practice to actually write them down? Calm to the front of our brain, make sure our hand is following that thought to reinforce it, to calcify it.
It is not woo-woo stuff.
No.
It's incredibly healthy for the brain.
And free. You don't have to.
And freeing. Yeah. You know what else is cool that frees you up is forgiveness. That's a tougher one, though. That's very, very hard. What we do is try to create in the classroom cognitive flexibility. Well, a cognitive flexible mind is able to change their mind. It's able to look at something from a different angle. Now, if you want to really feel compassionate about someone, let's say you don't like Donald Trump. Yeah, because he's a person that people have a lot of dislike for whatever reason. But I can tell you, you will find something to forgive him for. If you don't really look at people who may have some traits you don't like, aside from people who murder people, I'm sorry, but I mean, obviously there's lines drawn, but we can always find something worthy of looking at and saying they did that well.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds very Mother Teresa weirdness, but it works, man. And poison is right there in your very own backyard, because hatred and anger and lack thereof of forgiveness will only manifest physically in your body. Because your brain and your body are like one dude. I mean, they're just work together. It's like the heart and the mind and the brain work very closely together. So we just have to honor both.
I remember, I think it's probably 10 years, you and I partnered on a series of schools in southern Los Angeles for MindUp with the Blue Zone Project. And what I remember about it that so impressed me is part of the curriculum is you had children be quiet. You had children focusing on quietness. In a way, it was meditation. You didn't really call it meditation.
We call it a brain break.
A brain break.
And the kids know every brain needs a break. And my God, it does.
And in our world of overstimulation of social media and texting and TV, it's such a powerful, that just silence can be such a wonderful teacher.
Oh my God.
And you brought that to them through MindUp.
That's what we're continuing to do, is to know that we do 3 brain breaks a day, not just one in the morning when they come in, one in the afternoon after lunch, because everybody is all crazy.
Yeah.
And then one either before
lunch.
a test, and then one as a goodbye, which is a very short one.
And have you studied children's outcomes? Do they do better in tests?
Oh, yes. They do better in English. They've done better in math. They work better together. Our research is fantastic. 83% of those children said that they could make themselves happier now.
What a tool.
That made me cry.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
I thought, my God, I really wanted these children to be happier. That's why I created the program. I didn't realize when I dreamed it and created it, I just thought they were unhappy, but I didn't know that 10-year-olds were taking their lives. And when I learned that, there was no turning back for me. There's no reason why a 10-year-old should have no reason to live. And we have to give our children reasons to live and have fun. And school should be fun.
And when you make them happier, they bring that joy home to their parents.
Exactly. They teach their parents.
Yes. And who knows, there may be some aspiring actress across the street that hears a laugh and it gets her through the cockroaches and the drug dealers and wins an Academy Award. I'm just connecting the dots here.
Oh, my God. I like the way you do that.
How many schools are you in now with MindUp? And
it is so hard to tell.
And can people
22 years.
If people are listening, if they want to bring MindUp to their children's school, can they do it? What does it take?
Right now we're doing schools, but we're doing mostly districts.
Okay.
Because once you do one school, I mean, there's so many schools in the United States. So we're looking now at doing just districts where we can. It's like we're in all of New York City districts, so the New York City schools. That is a huge deal. We've been there for 4 years. It's fantastic.
Can parents ask for this? Can they?
Some have asked for it, yeah. But they can't see. This goes into schools. But what I'm doing now, and I'm really excited about it, is that MindUp is now turning into an AI bot, which means anybody can have it. I'm turning it into an asset where we can learn in micro lessons, not big, long lessons anymore. These are micro lessons on how to implement MindUp in the classroom. And then I'm doing one for parents. So parents understand not only this, but also brain facts, understanding more. So they too can understand our children and know that their brain is actually a working and growing organism, and it's still under construction. So they have to know that's where they have forgiveness, especially for our teenagers, which we're working on adolescent. It's incredible what we've learned now about the adolescent brain. It's a fantastic time to be alive.
All right, if you're looking for your next actionable step to stop wishing and start doing, go ahead and click the video on your screen right now. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you can keep getting the practical advice you need to live longer and better. Be a huge favor to me. And we'll see you in the next episode. I guarantee you'll like it even better than the one you just saw.